pleased to see you, Mali. We had a little chat last year and then it broke down. So I'm really very pleased to have you now newly in life. And so you want to discuss and present something about women in impact companies and women as founder and all this, right?
Thank you so much for calling it women in, because it's actually the opposite, but that's the idea. So
okay.
kind of like you kick off the discussion. Very
so
good.
I'm really very, very curious about that.
You know, hi Bettina, thanks for joining.
Hi Bettina.
And because it's like very, I would say, close circle here, I'm not going to lecture for 1 hour. I would love it to be a discussion, because the idea of supporting Gita since day one, Gita Tel Aviv, Gita Berlin, doesn't matter, is that we have to raise the voice and we have to talk for those that care about, yes, making revenue, yes, building significant and successful companies, but also making an impact, also doing good while doing great business. So Elka, as you mentioned, you know, the female things, you know, I call it the female economy. And the female economy is because, you know, show me one woman in the last 400 years that built a company without any meaningful, any reason, any willingness to make her surrounding happier, her kids happier, her food better, something that she's giving back to the society. It's something that it's part of our, what can I say, DNA. And I would say, thanks to Corona, we are not the minority anymore when we are crazy people going on stage and say, tech for good, tech for revenue for good, tech for good that knows how to build a significant and sustainable companies. Because this is actually existing, and also you can see the European Commission, which I'm quite involved there, when it comes to where the money goes and where the efforts are, you know, putting the focus at. So back to what you said, feminine economy, it's the feminine values. It's the feminine state of mind when you build company, when you build a product, when you raise a team, and how you treat your team. So all this definition coming back to a beautiful new set of mindset on what I want to dive in together with you today, and please jump into the conversation in any point when it comes to what we want to see, what is different. And, you know, COVID-19 actually just kicked it to be something that, let's say, yes, became a trend or hype, but it's a good one. So we are all with the hype right now. So the feminine economy, it's actually the value, economy with a value. And by the way, it's absolutely referring to the guys. It doesn't matter today, we see a lot of smart founders that even if they have unicorns, they want to convert it or to learn how to make it more sustainable, more impactful, and much more like, I would say, smarter product, giving back a product as well. And definitely as an investor, as a VC, we always learn, I would say, how to teach them from a very, very early stage, how to build it the right way. So if it's touching even like the obvious things, that it's like being honest, be how you build your company, be a collaborator, be authentic, be a leader, bring a sustainable growth while absolutely showing a great business model and revenue. Be care, share, not be close. You know, I have two hats. One hat, it's called W Lounge, which is the network, which I've built not alone, with amazing people and partners. but I actually built that because I wish I had that when I started, when I was 20, you know, always someone that I can, you know, pick up the phone and ask if they can connect me, if they can ask someone, if I can send a pitch and if I can have a feedback. So thank God W Launch is growing and becoming strong and strong. And the other head is actually totally different, which is raising a fund. And the fund brings the ability not to be only a great connector, but put the money where your mouth is, which is coming back to how I see it as a feminine economic values. And it's all about the values. And values, it's something that it doesn't touch the gender. So I hope it's clear it's not the women, but yes, the women as a role model, as a mindset. And the good guys are with us. And the good guys always says, I wish we can learn more. We can adopt more of this attitude. So many things that we're doing during this, raising this idea and supporting the startup with it is, you know, I'm sitting in Berlin. I live in Berlin for almost 8 years. Originally, I'm from Tel Aviv. I worked a lot in Silicon Valley, New York, and Asia, China. So you understand also different cultures. Different cultures bring totally different, I would say, attitude into the business. So if we're working with China, if you say sustainability, they don't understand that. They just don't know what to do with this word, you know? Oh, so it's probably industry. It's probably mobility. They just not there. I mean, I worked in China for 8 years. I know exactly why it's not there. It will take ages. And then you go to the state and you talk about sustainability. So everyone pushing it, but it's more like self-branding, pushing, be the coolest guy in the room or women in the room. And then you come back to Europe. And then even in European level, we speak about, okay, we know what the Israelis are very good at. There is cybersecurity, fast growth, hyper growth. We know what Americans are good at. They are volume, take a risk, and fast, you know, I would say executor. Definitely the Asian. As Europe, where can we lead? What can we do that will make Europe, which is, by the way, by the definition, much more diverse than other ecosystems. And I'm so happy to be in this, I would say, discussions when we say, go without saying that Europe is the Green Deal. Europe is the sustainability. Europe is the human center. And I can say that I see it a lot on the startups, on the trends, on what is coming up, and where the European Commission and also the country level as well investing in. So part of the thing that we see as challenge, apropos Gita and the mission and other things that we see that's happening, is the culture. And most of the countries in Europe, and I will focus on West Europe in this, is the culture that, yes, if you want to talk about the women, it's also the guys, but if you want to talk about the women, it's holding them back. There is a lot of things that we talked. By the way, I have my own talk show because someone beautiful kicked me to build my own talk show, but it's actually brought amazing people into my life. It's called malitalkshow.com. And we talked about this, and many people, that family officers, investors from all over the world, we always said, like, what we do not have here in Europe when it comes to the culture that in other places they do have. It's not, you know, coming from Tel Aviv, working outside and living in Germany, in Europe, it's literally heaven for entrepreneurship. You do not have enough public sector money and support. With New York, you can dream about this. In Israel, the cake is too small. So I always say like there's everything to build the right puzzle. All the cards are on the table. So what is it that push the women back or make the women like lay back and not being really into the forefront, even like in corporate, even in a higher position, go without saying for being a founder. So at least I can say that my craziness of building a fund, a significant one that is a game changer for Europe, is to invest in diversity. It's to show the women power, because it starts with the value. It starts with the language. So when we speak about the feminine economy value, we see it as economical change. You cannot build company that is not bringing a social impact, environmental impact, something that, yes, you know, stick to the ESG and so on, but I don't want to follow rules. I want to follow the genuine reason and the mission under it. And on top of it, as individuals, we highlight Europe, because those things are definitely big time, are much more progressive in Europe than other places. But on the same time, we want to say, okay, let's say we have the good values. Let's say we stick to the values of the feminine economy value. I will try to share screen. I don't know if it's worked, but let me know if you see it. Elka, tell me if you see something that I'm sharing. I actually put it on the chat. Bettina, just you're on mute, so if you are speaking, I'm happy to hear you as well.
First of all, sorry for joining a bit late.
No, all good.
Secondly, I was just wondering, did you already talk a bit more about the fund you raised, or, you know, because that's obviously something that's rather close to my or our heart to find out more about. Is that part of the presentation you're gonna, you know, just share with us?
I'm purely here to have a discussion, but it was one screenshot that I really wanted to share. So if Elka, you can put it into the discussion, that will be perfect. If not, it's also okay. I mean, it's like talking is more important. So thank you, Bettina, for the note. So continue to what I'm saying. As a network, we can do whatever we want. You know, we even build kind of like not highlighting the problem, but bringing a truly solution. So we even built like a leadership program for women. That was specific. Oh, thank you so much. For example, this is how we build the feminine economy values. So that's something we brought from the venture capitals. That's something we brought from the startups, from the corporates, you know, how we define this feminine power. And Elka, if you can upload the second one, that will be perfect. And that will be the last one. And coming back to what you mentioned, Bettina, you know, sticking to these values and raising a fund, it's kind of like not going together, okay? Like traditionally wise, okay? Like if you see Sequoia or other names that I can drop here, you know, it's the money machine, it's the unicorns, but we are teaching, literally teaching that you can build sustainable company, you can absolutely give back and doing good while using successful company unicorns. So raising Magda Group as a fund came with, first of all, having amazing people around me, building amazing team that, you know, they are stronger than I am in terms of like execution. I'm only the crazy person in the room usually, but I know that today the world is changing. The money is not the only reason that you are actually becoming a very good investor. Thanks. I will talk about it in a second, Elta. Thank you so much. So for example, let's say you are VC and you're a good one and successful one and significant one, okay? But you're also a VC that have tons of networks and ability to support the startup's growth. Not all of them, and I'm focusing on Europe, not all of them understand that this is their responsibility. Part of them changing the CEO, part of them are not in a contact until, you know, let's talk in 7 years. I mean, I saw everything. But on the same time, if you want to put yourself also, you know, you brought your own LPs into the venture capitals, you bring your values, you support the startups to also fundraise or second round or so, because you have the network. But at the moment that the product is ready, you open your network for them. You build even deals, yes. And I have a great example for it. It's actually an Israeli, New York example. It's Pitango Venture Capital invested in VIA. And eventually when VIA became super successful in New York, they brought them amazing deal as an investor to grow outside, to come to Germany. I mean, it doesn't matter, I won't go into details, but this is not something that you see every day. And on the same time, support them to become much more sustainable, be much aware of the employee and much aware of, you know, where the company is going. And I don't think that there will be, again, focus on Europe for a second, enough venture capital that I can name that they have this attitude.
Well, in fact, we supported one, which is called Impact Partenaire. You may know them. They're based in Paris, and they just raised their 4th growth fund. And they are very much into buy and build strategy. You know, the previous investment banker from Rothschild who founded it. And a relatively similar approach, I would say.
Amazing. And we need more than this. Mm-hmm. And on top of it, if you highlight the female approach, not because being a female, but the feminine approach, this will bring Europe, you know, to be a leader in category, a leader in certain, you know, I would say ecosystem that leads something that makes Europe much more significant than it is right now. Because right now, we're running a lot of things between Europe and Asia, and we always speak about not enough significant companies are coming from Europe.
Mali, may I ask you a further question? So we are talking about majority stakes that you're looking at, usually, or minority stakes, and which sort of
companies?
Yes.
It's very different, you know, because there are companies that already out there, and we can bring a lot of value, but not necessarily step in big time hands-on to the cap table. Sometimes it's too late, but yes, they want us to be in because of the value that I mentioned, you know, in the growth. And there are some that are super early stage, and then we are definitely want to be significant. So the portfolio is very diverse as well. Yeah. Diversity.
There's no so-called sector focus, right?
It's you know, it's a very good question, and there is, but because you have to, okay, you cannot be like that opportunistic. And you know, coming back to what I said, remember I told you it's a responsibility. So responsibility is like, okay, we screen startup and we say, how can we really be a value more than only the cash or more than only the capital?
Yeah.
So if we have LPs from this industry, if we have a strong, I would say, allies in this industry, so it's like digital health, mobility, cybersecurity, AI and blockchain, that covers a lot of things. Those areas that we are super strong at. And if you are very good team and founders, it's very easy to bring you to super fast growth. So yes, there are focus, and the focus are coming from my different hat, which is the network. It has to come together. So I hope it's not too much information, but yes, level of ability to support, taking responsibility, but not forget the values.
So did I get it right that if your fund, sorry, I have to open the door. So you are supporting with your fund men and women?
Yes.
If they have this feminine value mindset approach.
And what about they do not have, because they're just not progressive enough, but we can support them to become one?
Okay, so the criteria is that you have the impression that the founders and all the teams are really deeply aligned to being prepared to live this values, this feminine economic values. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that now it's clear that the woman in business was bullshit bingo at the beginning. Sorry for that, but
no.
but maybe it makes it clear.
Yeah, but the women are, you know, okay, because I've been there, done that, you know, I built several companies. I did a lot of rounds to my own companies. And back then the game was the game. You go for male investor because that's the game. So the women is never weaker or victim. We not victimize the women. I will never put money on women just because she's a woman. Okay.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful.
No, of course, you know, I have boy and girl at home, you know, they need the same food. but
so do I.
Yeah, but if it's a woman, a co-founded woman, of course, I'm much more passionate. And on top of it, I have a teams that I'm even only mentoring right now, because this is how I get to know them. They are brilliant, 3 German boys. And I said, guys, you're brilliant. But as long as you're not diverse, I'm not there. I'm sorry, you know? So they are open and they will hire and add a co-founder. But it's a lot of a mindset, you know? It's get them into what is the right way to build a company. And be 3 founders, like a machine, you know, or universities are like a machine making, or like startup group machine making. This is why I'm stepping university as well. That's not the right way. Then they don't understand that they can go to Asia, that they can go to other markets, that they can grow faster.
So the requirement is, if you have found a team that has to be diverse on the count of sex, and on account of racism, of race, or of being original German, South African, or something like that.
I agree. I mean, diverse team literally outperforming better. I mean, I'm living it, you know. We live in Berlin. I see a lot of startups from New York, from Israel. The good ones are definitely coming from a different background, different cultures. Yes, and also different genders.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
But you're still representing the minority, I would say, Mali, from the investors' universe. My experience, at least, having worked with men.
You know, but Bettina, there's no need for extra VC in the world unless you want to do an impact. Mm-hmm. Unless you really want to use the money to make something significant. That's the only reason I'm raising the fund.
So how large is the percentage of your portfolio companies with female founders and co-founders?
So first of all, we are raising the fund, yes.
I see. Okay, yes. Right. And what is your target size, if I may ask you?
100 million.
Okay. Euros, we're talking, yeah.
And with W Launchpad, with the network, we are already, of course, part of co-investing, opening doors for capital. So it's already existing as well. So the percentage of having female co-founder is around 90%.
All right, well, that's significant.
Yeah, we walk the talk. Oh my God, you can challenge me on this. Hello, Stefan, how are you? Good to see your face. Wow, long time. Corona took us really not seeing each other for a long time.
Always nice to see you, Mali. And yeah, I will not say I'm a fan of all this online. It's always great to meet in person and make the real connections. I believe that also we have to change and do these things. And I'm actually very happy and surprised of this network and the people I meet both today and a few weeks ago. And so I'm happy for that. And Mali, I just joined just 10 minutes ago, so I haven't heard your whole presentation. I'm struggling a little bit with devices having the connections and so, but I got the last part and I know your background and all that. And
good. The idea is to be informal and to ask anything and to exchange and to brainstorm. There's nothing to, to oversell here. It's really just to exchange. And as you mentioned, because we also not really meeting each other in person, that's a great opportunity.
Well, one thing I think you said that was very, very interesting or so clear is that there's no reason to become a VC if you have nothing else to offer. It's like, there is no reason. There's enough money out there, but if you have no other approach than anyone else, there's no reason. So good point. Yeah. Very, very good point. For me, I take that to myself. I go back and look at everything I'm involved in. Thank you for that.
Of course, and thank you for saying this because, raising a fund with the good investors and real strong values is something that's taking the time. We actually run for the long run, not like in a short way. This is why the network is doing a lot of things when it comes to network investment, co-investment, open doors for capital. Network can do whatever, a fund is much more structured. So it's also coming from seeing a lot of super young guys having like super micro fund, which is very important. I'm not saying, but eventually they are investing in themselves, in the younger version of themselves, same universities, same colors, same topics, same language. And this is why we have the boys clubs, suddenly crazy women like us, which old enough and genuine enough, because we've been there, done that, raised company, did all the mistakes already, said, stop. We break the boys clubs and make the boys clubs need us because they cannot invest in themselves only. And this is where, it's already a long time mission. This is at the moment that they saw, they are a good friend of mine. They're good boys as well, let's not make them bad boys, but the alert, that awareness, it's not there. And now I cannot say everything is perfect, far away from it, but there are much more awareness. And if you are an LPs, and it has to come from the LPs, show me your portfolios, I want to see where you put your money. How many yes women, diverse team, different people from India, people from Asia. I want to see if they really, diversifying the portfolio. So a lot of them are. Also the German one, which was the tougher. But it's there.
Ali, for you raising a first-time fund, if I understood you correctly, you're obviously encountering the typical problems, right? Especially, I was born in Palo Alto, California, so I've got two hearts. I very much know what you're talking to. In the States, it would be a completely different discussion, right? But here in Germany, especially,
I agree.
Woman, first-time fund, diverse background, from Tel Aviv, wonderful city, but far away, She's got a network, all right, yeah. But so how would you react to that sort of? I'm a devil's advocate now, right?
No, amazing. I love it, and thanks so much for bringing this. Usually I'm the elephant in the room, so it's amazing. I will be very open. At the moment I started to fundraise for the VC, which means I supported them. Yeah. I can be an advisor, I can be a GP, doesn't matter. I understand the pain point. I understand the problem. I understand the screening of startups, the opportunities. They're working very hard to really scout for the best one, you know? So they go for the easy way because we just know them, because they finished the same technical university, because. So although I'm focusing on Germany when I'm speaking, but my fund is totally focusing on Europe. And by the way, this is a good point, because I know a lot of very good friends of mine from Silicon Valley. My sister lives there as well, and also in Tel Aviv. In Tel Aviv, I will be another one. I will definitely be another one. In Europe, we are very unique. So, you know, I have a lot of LPs, by the way, from New York, also from Israel, but absolutely apropos impact and the values, Europe. We need to make the change in Europe. And then, of course, we will co-invest and we grow, and definitely the second fund. So yes, you're right. It's the first time fund, but it's not the first time fund. You know, when I'm speaking with LPs, they know me already from other funds as well. They know that I'm involved in different levels. And it also was a strategic decision to be part of others, to support others, to be at a position that if someone asking me this question, and all of them asking this question, I can answer. You know, it is a first-time fund, but it's not really a first-time fund. You know, we know what we're talking about, and we know how to make it different.
And also, so sorry to bombard you with all these questions, but will you also be different in terms of holding period? Because I mean, talking about impact, you know, just recently, you know, someone presented a very interesting business model to me: private equity, really as an evergreen fund where there's no pressure to exit within 10 years. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I worked with private equity firms for decades, so, you know, I just didn't get it first. So in your case, is it the typical, you know, we need to exit in 5 or 7 years, or what is your approach?
You remember how I started doing good and showing phenomenal growth of business. It's not once against each other. It's, you know, it has to come together. This is the great things right now, you know. If you do something that it's like agriculture, food tech, there's no reason on earth that you cannot show a significant growth unless you don't build a business plan, or you do it only for charity, which is good. So do like NGO or something, you know. It's not against each other. And also, I have to tell you, apropos Germany, the German market is very progressive when it's also come to foundations. Foundations are also investing. So yes, they are not for profit, but they can invest in others that can make profit, but it's hit the goal. So I hope I answered your question, because it's definitely...
Not entirely. Let's assume, you know, you invested whatever, 500,000 in company X based in Berlin. Right? With your new fund.
Yeah.
So there's certain minimum return requirements, surely, financial return requirements.
Yes.
So are you then sort of obliged to exit your investment in 4, 5, 6, 7 years? Or are you saying, no, we are actually building in an additional layer of impact. We are really patient in terms of equity investors. We can wait if, you know, it's being reflected by the business model, or even 10 years plus.
There are many ways of exit, you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Between us, there's no only one way.
Yes.
But the power of the network is kick their ass to exit as soon as possible, and doing good.
Okay.
When it comes to education, when it comes to different products, absolutely yes. Because if we can attach them with the market, and they can start piloting and having customers, paying customers, there's no way that they're not going to grow or grow faster.
So you wouldn't support the next growth financing phase. You would be there sort of for the...
We will, of course, we will. Oh my God, of course. This is what you asked me at the beginning. Mali, is it super early stage? So I said in early stage, we will have X and Y, and, you know, hands-on equity, but there are some that they just need this kick, you know, and there are a lot, by the way, in Israel and also in Silicon Valley, that we have so much to give them. They need access to the market. They need access to customers. And then we step in, capital and access. And then they can, you know, grow very fast. So absolutely, yes. And on top of it, we will never do it alone. We can lead around, but we will always bring our allies and our LPs again, because they will be the first to know. So it's more inclusion and it's more communication. You know, apropos what Stefan said, you know, raising a VC, like it's better to have like, you know, special vehicle, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to have anything. Put the money and you do it. This is what the network can do. But having a VC and to have a statement, we're going to show you how VC should look like. It's much more founder-centric. It's much more focusing on success, not without killing the employees and killing the healthy of the company. And it's existing, but not enough. And yes, we will pick those, apropos what Elka mentioned, those that will be with us, with this mindset, with this willingness and want to grow faster, because we do have the network. I mean, the superpower is the network.
Thank you very much. I have another aspect to, and I'm not sure if I got it right. In the beginning, you said that in Europe you have this human mindset, and in Europe you have a lot of possibilities to build this third way, not the Chinese and not the American. And on the other hand, you said that in Europe, and I suppose especially in Germany, the people are very, very unique and not diverse. Did I get it right?
I think it's the opposite. I mean, it's human-centric, or more than other places. You know, people really want to live a good life. It's not only about becoming a millionaire. It's much more this, you know, having a vacation. It's very important. I learned that the hard way, you know, come on, I'm from Tel Aviv, you know. I learned that. They teach me, shut down, you go be with your kids, go for vacation. You know, I learned that the hard way, which is beautiful, by the way. It's the balance. But what you mentioned, Europeans are the same people, yes? But as Europe ecosystem, if we can call it this way, try to see it as a big umbrella, Europe has to lead with something, to be unique with something, which we do not have it yet. And this is where it comes to the sustainability and impact, more than other places. It's not instead of, yes, but it's more than other places.
So your idea is, or your picture is, that concerning the EU, it's like a big company, and they have to have a unique selling point, and the sustainability would be a very, very, very good selling point for the EU. And okay, thank you. And then why is the sustainability a very good fitting USP? Only because the others don't grab it? Or do have the European people have something others in their mindset and in their approach that is different, and which is very good linked to sustainability?
The second one is the right one. European people has different mindset. What is to have a good life? It's different. Something else is driving them. And I will answer you with a question. What's so unique in Asia? What's so unique in Chinese that they have TikTok in one day and everyone hear about this? And they have like Alipay and all of this. It's the numbers, it's the volume, it's the massive user. You can grow like crazy there. You know, we are running event in China, super, super small meetup, 400 people. You know, so if you are a startup that you need to grow and you need this massive number, you understand that you go there for a reason. Also, you cannot go to China and say, I need 50K. You know, they cannot see you. So you need to understand culture. So when you come to Europe and your American startup and you say, hey guys, I need 500K because I'm going to do A to B, it's very realistic. As an Israeli, I will double it because this is what they teach us, okay? You over-evaluate because then you negotiate and close in the middle. In Europe, the evaluation, the discussion is coming from a different mindset. And believe me, I learned that here, okay? I'm very Israeli, very American.
And is this and is this mindset linked to your feminine mindset thing? This European mindset?
It's a good question. I would never see it, but if you include the values, it has to be something that connect with the approach of the women and not approach of a guy. And of course, we can disagree on this, okay? I also asking myself this question, but eventually, I never saw any guy that leading this or talking like this. So maybe.
Okay, so I have one other thing, because
yes,
my speech before was about the mindset of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has something to do with what you try to express with your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And wisdom is something underlying the sex and the normal culture. But in the same time, it's universal, and it's in every culture, in every time and everywhere you have wisdom. And I think, so I'm sure that the wisdom is something that is so deep in the humans that it's not a cultural thing, but it's a human thing. And maybe it would be an interesting question to dive deeper into. Maybe we have something underlying what every human has, and not only cultural, not the cultural behaviors and things like what you find in the sexes. Because when we start to put it in sexes, or to say it's feminine and therefore it's so important to have women and men together, then we start to separate. And I feel that this separation might be dangerous.
It's amazing that you said that. And I have to tell you two things. First of all, when I was 26 and started and fundraised from investors, that was the game. That was the game. Okay, I was too thin, too beautiful, everything you said. I dreamed about being old lady eventually, that they will not test me because the way I look, okay? This is one thing. So maybe my life took me into this journey. Then when we had a company in China and I needed to produce in China, I learned about diversity. I learned about being a woman is not an issue. I worked with the factories, and then it's not an issue. It's the professionalism that leads you there, okay? So like, boom, different mindset. Then I came to, of course, America, and then like Europe. So when you say it's danger, I want to say, you know what, I agree. But this is the right game and the right risk to take, because there's not enough women that dare to do. And if it will be enough women, I would say it's danger. Okay, so let's not do it. It's not danger. I want my daughter to feel that she can do everything, and no one on earth can tell her no because she's a woman. And I agree with what you mentioned, and this is the wisdom, and this is them gaining the trust and getting the trust in yourself. I wasn't like this when I was 26 building my toy company, okay? Definitely not. When my investor asked me to come to drink, I did it. That was the game. Today, I will embarrass him. I will never do it. So it's my responsibility to talk about this, because this is wrong. To get the money, you don't need to play this game. You have to stick to your wisdom, as you mentioned. So I don't care if it's a risk. We have to play it. We have to have thousands of women talking like this, and then it will not be an issue, and then maybe it will be a risk. You're right. It's like against, but I'm a mother. I have an amazing husband, the best partner on earth. It's not a fight. It's a reality. If I want to raise money as a founder, I need to know that there are also women investors out there. Yes, there are in Silicon Valley. Yes, there are in New York. Yes, there are some in Israel. There's zero in Europe. So again, coming back 20 years back, and the game is still the same game.
Okay, so I totally agree to support things that are not enough developed, as you say, in this area.
It's the chance, you know.
Yeah. And but you see, there is. I came to the word of danger, because when I observe the public discussion on all these gender things, that is a discussion based on win-lose. Right. It's fight, and that is danger.
100%.
And to find a way that is not win-lose but win-win. And I suppose that you try to find this way.
We find a way, because you know why? My best investors, my best partners are guys for a reason. And when we are running in W Launch event and put the women as speakers and the audience is mixed, you understand that we include everyone. We just play different game. It's not against any guy. Come on, I have a son at home, okay? He's 19. He needs the same support. I don't want him to feel outsider, okay? The opposite. We play the different game, inclusion game, and you know what? Women played better. This is coming back to the values. We include them. Like if you are CEO of KPMG and think that I did, you know, part of the network, or Deutsche Telekom or Deutsche Bahn, they understand that they need to have more women in the team for outperforming, for purely business reasons. Why? Because we include them, and we brought women on stage as a speaker. They're a role model, not because they're women, because they have been there, done that, sharing wisdom, as you mentioned. So it's not danger, it's inclusion. It's just coming from a power position and not a weakness position. And you're right, when you come like as a fan talking about quota or something like this is danger and this is fight. We don't need that. I agree with you 100%.
So thank you very much for clarifying this. And so I'm really glad to hear that.
Yes, and when it's come back to the investment world, it's even worse.
Yes, yes.
We need more women.
I can imagine.
We need more women, more founders, more taking decision, more leading the way, and make sure that we are not the only person, you know, the only woman in the table. To be very honest, as much as cliche as it's heard, that's the goal. If you're already there, take others with you. And so I don't see a risk. I see a uniqueness, and maybe I'm crazy, maybe not, time will say. But on the same time, I want to invest in those that understand that it's more than only becoming very rich. It's really doing something great and you know, leaving something after you.
Mm-hmm. Can I say thank you, Elke, to actually asking all these questions, because I've been knowing Mali for a while, and I've been seeing Mali developing from, you know, it's amazing what you've been doing, Mali, and we've been knowing each other mainly, I say, in one-on-one situations and workshop interactions or something like this. But what you do beside that is a whole different animal, and there I'm very impressed because you're taking on anything that is bigger than most, and especially you going into the whole investment world, and you say I'm a woman and no one is doing it. I'm coming from Israel, and in Europe there's no one who have done it the same way as you, or you're just taking a decision. This is the way I'm doing it, and that's why Mali is amazing. Mali, I'm thinking, following you in the way you're branding it, I so much appreciate what you're doing, but with the way you brand it, I'm thinking, hey, are you tapping into, because it's a little bit like V-Lounge and VIP sessions, and so how is this? Because what I hear you saying is a little bit different. We want to support everyone. We are there, and someone that are not super developed, but I have sometimes the feeling that you create sessions, you create events that are VIP and somehow exclusive. Do you understand my comment?
100%, and I'm very happy to dive in and to hear more. And first of all, I want to say thank you, Stefan, for saying this, because sometimes I can be more gentle, you know. I can promise you, Elka, and also Bettina. But on the same time, there are, okay, it was
my idea is that there's a reason behind it. I just want to ask
I mean, maybe there is a reason, but maybe you kind of like make me thinking about this, you know, because not everything is with reason. There's a lot of strategy behind everything. I agree, but maybe it's also an open eye for me, because at the beginning, W Lounge as wanting to build significant community, open, giving, you know, so you do it for 2 years. And then you start to close, because why? You want to focus on the quality and you want to focus on execution and actually making an impact. So you cannot help everyone and you cannot work with everyone, but yes, you keep the network open. So we had a culture, we had things that not necessarily my things, but definitely the things of the community. Also the leadership program and so on. So coming back to what you mentioned, since 2 years ago, I would say even Corona, the decision, without even having a decision, but thank you for highlighting this, was the focus on the quality is much more important for me, because then I can measure the impact of my network. And having event with tons of people, which I'm still having it, but with a different reason, but having a quality of having, for example, Deutsche Telekom, Deutsche Bahn, or other company talking about why they hire more women or where they find their talents and so on. And W Lounge facilitating this and inviting the community, we cannot be that open to not close the event and say, okay, done. Because I don't want it to have like done. I want them to hire people from the community. I want them to follow up. And I'm actually, my team is like actually making sure that it's happening. Mm-hmm. So it's not a bullshit network just to name something, okay? There's a lot of thinking of the why. So if event of 50, 60, 80 people is VIP, you're more than welcome to be my VIP, you know? I never close it. By the way, for startups, it will always be free. There's always newsletter, it's open. But there is something with what you mentioned, that the outcome has to be significant. You know, why we're doing this, why we're spending time on doing this with this and that corporates, what they want to achieve with us. So maybe it's less open, but you know that we're also running once in a year, the Oscar of the tech ecosystem. Absolutely, it's like pick up the cherries, you know, but everyone can apply. So I think the magic is to build network and not just being there as another name, but being effective. If you need fundraising, you will find it. If you need mentors, you will find it. If you need the skills, you will find it, because we are open and we will connect you. But I cannot say with being so open, we can be really, really that high quality of impact. And maybe I'm wrong, but you actually opened my mind on this.
Okay, thank you very much, Mali. So 2 minutes left. time for a conclusion, for a final statement from you, Molly?
For me? Oh,
for you, of course. Go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, the final statement will be that I'm happy to stay in contact. This is one thing. And the second thing is that I wish we'll get into the point that we'll stop talking about this, you know, as a feminine, as a woman topic, as something that maybe makes other people, you know, angry or angry about that. I think that the time is now. I think the time is now, because thank God I'm crazy, but there are phenomenal, amazing ladies, crazier than I am. And thank God they are in my circle as well. Most of them are from New York, to be very honest, also Brussels. And I think we are like just supporting each other. So if I would do it alone, although I have amazing team, but my team sometimes also like say, okay, we understand. Okay, maybe next year. No, now. So this temperament, I think, is the driver, and I wish I will have it forever. Even when I will be 80, 90, I will never keep investing and mentoring and open my doors to other people.